Hello and welcome to Travelin' Young
Hi.
and a hotel room
Yes.
that we're in because we've just been to the Rebild Festival.
Yes, so much fun.
Yeah, people have said to us on the channel, we need to go.
Yes.
And we finally, we have to thank the folks at the 4th of July Committee in Frederick for helping to arrange this. They invited us to be guests and we're so happy that we got to go. And we want to share with you what our experience was. But yeah, I mean, people have said for a while, that we need to be there.
Yeah, and I thought it was just on July 4th, but there's actually all kinds of stuff happening all around July 4th in different parts of the city. And the first stop was this garden party that one of the groups hosts every year to kind of celebrate the connection between America and the U.S. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we drove across the Nightmare Bridge the day before the Tour de France riders went across the bridge. And we prepped it. Everything was fine.
We did.
I made it across okay.
We did a safety check.
We got up to Aalborg, had a nice dinner, stayed the night, and then the next day got up and went to this garden party, which kind of kicked off the weekend of festivities. And we want to show it to you.
Yeah.
Alright, that was the garden party, which was really cool that it was I don't think it's always in that exact place.
No.
I think it moves around maybe, but it was cool to have it in this museum because the museum was open and we could walk. It was a nice day. We can go look at the tanks and the planes inside and the bunker and everything.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They had a brass band, which is always fun. You always need a brass band for July 4th celebrations. But I just really enjoyed going around and talking to everybody and understanding what their connection was. Some people had been in au pairs. Some people had family members who lived in the U.S. And that was their connection. But it was just a nice way to meet everybody. We felt very welcome.
Yeah, I think this reminds me of this time, one of our favorite musicians, Drew Holcomb. A long story that I won't tell you is that we got to go to his house for a birthday party once. And his mom knew we were there and knew that we didn't know anybody.
Yeah, we didn't know
anybody.
And she
came up to us to kind of talk to us and make us feel welcome. And that's kind of how it felt here, where you could tell people recognize that we weren't, like everybody seemed to know one another because they go to this event every year and they knew that we didn't know people. Yeah. And so folks would come up and talk to us and make us feel welcome. And it felt like I was at home. There's the friendliness and openness with everybody.
So nice.
That was so super nice. And that was also the brass band the first time we heard the Star Spangled Banner many times over the weekend. And I got to tell you, I mean, I still get warm and fuzzy, but I also want to say play ball at the end of it whenever I hear it because I've been to so many
I whispered it to you
baseball games where the national anthem is played. But also there's this cool bluegrass band from Kentucky that was there that traveled, and my dad's from Kentucky, so it was nice to talk to them about Kentucky, and they were there actually at various things over the weekend.
Yeah.
So after that, we went downtown and hung out in Aalborg a little bit, and I bought a tie because we had to dress up, and I forgot my tie. I left with everything except
we were in such a rush to get out.
A tie, and so so I bought a tie downtown, and it's because we had the gala dinner the next day.
Yes.
But the first thing the next day was this mare lunch, and there's this really cool tradition that they do at this.
I love this lunch. It was a lot of fun.
And first of all, let me say I don't have a ton of pictures and video from some of these things because we were there to kind of be respectful and not throw cameras in people's faces.
Yeah.
And for example, the new U.S. ambassador to Denmark, he was there, and we got to meet him, so I didn't think it was appropriate to throw my camera out. And so I have some random pictures that I'll show here, but I don't have a ton.
No.
But one of the things that's really neat is it's a mayor's lunch because the mayor of Aalborg is there.
Yes.
And he takes his golden...
Very fancy. I think they're called garters.
Yeah, he takes it and he presents it to somebody to be the mayor for the day.
Yeah.
And it's an annual thing, and you could tell that it's like something that everybody is super excited about, looks forward to. And it's an honor to the people that get to do it.
Yeah, it's somebody who has done a lot over the past year to kind of foster the relationship between the U.S. and Denmark, just within their own community. So it's a lot of fun.
And the person who received it was the person who lived in Kentucky and brought the band over.
Yeah,
and he was super nice along with the band, and it was just a a fun thing. I mean, these like traditions are super cool to see.
Yeah, we had no idea that these have been going on for so long, so many years.
So many years, yeah. So after that, we then got all gussied up and went to this gala dinner. So that's one of the few times that I've worn a suit
looking fancy
in years. I do have a picture of us that I'll show you of us dressed up. And again, we met more fantastic people at the event. And one of the funny stories, I'm gonna try to tell it quick. I feel like we've recorded this once already, and I feel like I said it was a little too long. Now I've eaten up time by saying that.
I know.
Oh, man. So
just do it.
Like a couple months ago, somebody messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, I was with your dad last night, and my son used to go to Cub Scouts with your nephew, because my dad does stuff with Cub Scouts with my nephew Adrian." And he said, I told him I was moving to Denmark, and he said, "Well, my son lives in Denmark." So he said, "I should reach out to you." So we messaged.
Which this happens quite often, occasionally.
Well, not from my dad specifically.
Not from your dad,
just
but
people. And so I messaged my dad, and I'm like, "Hey, let's talk about this. I'm curious, this guy from our neighborhood." And he's like, yeah, he lives just not too far from us, but he's moving to Denmark, and he works for the Air Force. So he's going there as a part of his job in the Air Force. I'm like, well, that's cool. So then I don't hear anything for a couple months because we were planning the summer and everything.
Yeah, it was a busy time.
And then he messaged me Friday, the day of the Tour de France being in Copenhagen. And he's like, I'm here, I got the day off, do you want to watch the Tour de France with us? And I said, I can't, we're heading out of town. I didn't tell him where. Like, we're going out of town this weekend, but let's chat when I get back and let's all get together then, because he's there with his wife and kids and everything. It's like, cool, yeah. So then we're at the gala dinner, and I'm standing there, we're at our table, and we're about to sit down, and somebody comes up to me and he goes, Joshua? I'm like, yeah. Matthew?
Yeah.
His name's Matthew? And he's like, yeah. So he was at this gala dinner in Aalborg.
That's crazy small world.
As part of his job, he was there with the ambassador and a few other people. And I'm like, well, what? This is crazy. So that's the first time I actually met him in person. This person who, when he introduced me to somebody, by the way, he said that I'm from his neighborhood. No.
Mm-mm.
That was my neighborhood first. That's where I grew up. So somebody who lived in my neighborhood, 3 streets away from my parents, I meet in person in Aalborg, Denmark, and it shows that the world is small, Denmark is small. And it was just that made the night even more fun and neat to kind of have this friendly face from back home that I got to chat with and meet his wife and stuff. So anyway, that was a fun, just extra little thing that happened as part of the gala dinner. And it was a ton of fun. I do have some video of the dinner, and so let's just show that now.
Yes.
And let's go. You just saw the wreath laying.
Yes.
I said it right that time.
It right this time.
I didn't. I recorded earlier, didn't say it very well. It's a good tongue twister.
Yeah.
The morning of, which was really nice, where the ambassador was back and along with other folks who
really nice ceremony.
laid this wreath on this to commemorate those that lost their lives during World War II from both America and Denmark. That was a great start to the day. There was a nice breakfast, and then there was a nice nap that we took because it'd been a long
needed one.
weekend. But then we headed out to the tent luncheon in Rebild.
Yeah, and we once again saw the schnapps glasses, which meant there would be herring.
Yeah,
and we ate a lot of herring. And I think you in the previous take said that pretty much every time we sang the Star Spangled Banner, there was herring and schnapps.
Well, I don't know if they were connected.
Yeah, they're probably not connected.
I think
coincidence.
The same amount of times that we sang the Star Spangled Banner, we also ate herring. And I think schnapps was maybe in most of those.
But I would like to point out, we did eat the herring. And we had schnapps.
We did not. I did not.
I
had buttered bread.
No.
I would locate another person at the table who was also not interested in herring and said, you and I are team no herring. And if I was the only one, I would have had some. But luckily, I found a comrade to join me.
But we did learn some great schnapps songs to sing while drinking, so that was fun.
And Matthew, who I mentioned earlier, was at the same table with us, so we got to talk with him again and met some other new people. And it was just a really neat experience again. And it was nice because it was under a tent because it was pouring outside. They even had to delay the start of the festival because there was so much rain, and we hung out in the tent. And then when the rain subsided, although it came back again.
And
again. We bolted out and went down into the hills, and it's so neat to walk past all the state flags.
Oh, the state flags, that was so
going
cool.
down and seeing
really
like Tennessee and California and all the different states, that we've lived in.
Yeah, one time there were some girls looking at a flag. You're like, "That's the Maryland state flag."
And they're like, "What are you? What's Maryland?" Yeah, that was at the end. They were taking them down. I feel like they should at least know one of the states that they're taking the flag down for. So we go down, and it was, I think the Queen decided she wanted to sit close to us.
Yeah,
because we were
because she heard we were going to be there.
Just a few rows in front, off a little bit.
She sat like, just a few meters away from us.
Yeah, I didn't get any good video of her at all, but you can see her hat and one
going by.
We
were very excited about that. But honestly, the most unique thing, it was really nice. They had a lot of really great speakers. Again, the ambassador got up and gave a speech. But what I really liked was the actor from Jackie, whose full name is escaping me. His first name is Casper, but he played John F. Kennedy in the movie Jackie. And he came up and did 3 of Kennedy's very famous speeches. And I did not know that Kennedy had worked with a Danish speechwriter. So many of these very famous speeches that we as Americans know so well were actually partially written by a Dane.
Yeah, and it was so cool. It's inspirational to hear. Some of them I'd heard before, but to hear it spoken like in person as if it was the real thing,
Yeah.
He was so good. He
really
even had a good little Boston accent to go along with the whole thing. And it was
very
just
believable.
It was just inspirational and made me wish that we had more people speaking like that today. Not just in America, but anywhere that was that focused on like inspiring and bringing people together around these common goals and objectives. And because he did this speech about going to the moon, which was very inspirational. It's just super, super cool, and that was a lot of fun. So anyway, I got some footage from this part because there was just so much going on. So let me just show a little bit of that from the Rebild Festival. And you can also see a little bit of the synchronized umbrellas going up and down in the rain. So that was the Rebild Festival.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is that it's not just one group that puts on all of these events. It's a whole a couple different groups that put them all on.
Some folks involved from the U.S. that traveled to it, and that had basically Danish in their background. They're Americans, but have grandparents or parents that were Danish. But then folks in Denmark, it was just like you could tell there's like an orchestra.
Yeah.
That's pulling all these different lunches and dinners and events and stuff together, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah, very much so.
And one last thing to mention, because I didn't get any video really of it, was Jacob Dennison played, who we saw at the Tuna Festival in 2019. So I was very excited to see he was listed because that was one of my favorite shows. And he's from that part of Denmark.
Yeah, and he put on a great show for those of us who stuck it out to the end, no matter how much rain there was.
Yeah, and that concluded the trip. And basically,
but we had a great time.
Yeah, we did.
It was so much fun, and it is something that there's all these different events that you can. Some of them are paid, so you have to get a ticket to it. But if you're an American and you're watching this, you should absolutely take the opportunity to go out and experience it just once. We'll probably go back again because we had such a great time. But just go out and go to the tent lunch, go to the gala, just go to the celebration. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and I mean, I felt good being an American there. It was just such a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
And everybody was so fantastic. I have to thank again the folks that invited us and kind of stuck with us and helped kind of show us around over the weekend. It was so much fun.
Nice.
And I mean, we love that part of Denmark. And we've got some plans to do some other things close by, because we also stopped by Aarhus on the way back and met some folks that we've got, organized some things later in the year up in northern Jutland. So, and we also got a whole bunch of Hancock sodas.
We did.
That will probably be gone and need to be replaced in a few months. But it was such a good trip, and I would highly recommend it. It was very, very cool. We will be back again for sure.
Definitely.
There you go. That's what we got, and why don't we? I'm going to link below to a video we did of Aalborg last year.
Yes.
So you can see our trip to Aalborg when we went last summer, because we were there last summer, not for the 4th of July, but we were there last summer. And we're going to say goodbye from there.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.